All right, welcome everybody. We are back. We got into a little bit of YouTube jail out of nowhere from random reasons. Our whole account, that spanned across multiple emails, multiple domains, just all of a sudden got shut down. And when I asked and talked to my sources, uh, they said it was going to take way longer. And by honestly a miracle of God Himself, it seemed like just out of nowhere, once we started poking the bear and poking around, we got everything reinstated without going through the long recovery process. So that's good. And that kind of just shows you how powerful our messaging is. Now, we are over on Rumble now, and we're going to be uploading videos over there as well, just in case this happens again, because I have a feeling that this is a little warning that what we talk about is a little too on the nose, a little too powerful for some people. But besides that, and with that being said, welcome to today's video. And this is going to be a really important video because we're going to kind of go into what's been going on, especially since we're already into the new year and 4 months down. So first, imagine it is the morning of spring break. No alarm, no school drop off, no back-to-back meetings, pulling you away from the house. It's just you, your wife, and 7 to 10 unstructured days. And instead of feeling like a break, it feels like the most intense thing that has happened in months. She's quiet at the coffee maker. Not cruel, not dramatic, just somewhere else. And you're standing there thinking, do I say something? Do I plan something? Do I give her something? And that question, that loop that you cannot get out of, is exactly where most men spend all of spring break, just spinning, not understanding that their wife is not just having a quiet morning, she's in a decision window. And those 7 to 10 days are going to move something in her, one direction or the other. Look, my name is Noah Allen, and I help high-achieving husbands rebuild trust and reignite connection using the heroic husband method, even when she is emotionally shut down or ready to leave. Today, I want to talk to you about something that does not get nearly enough attention. Not big conversations, not the grand gestures, and not the perfect vacation plan. What actually happens inside your wife during a stretch of unstructured time together when the marriage is already in trouble. Because most men walk into spring break, or really just spring, treating it like an opportunity to reset and walk out of it wondering why she seems even further away. This video is going to change how you see those days. So stay with me. The first thing you need to understand is why spring break is different from any other week. Not just different from a regular work week, different in a way that matters specifically when your marriage is under strain. When a marriage is in trouble, both people quietly build coping systems. You probably know yours. Maybe it's staying late at work. Maybe it's the gym, or it's losing yourself in a project or a screen. And hers, well, she has hers. The school calendar, kids' carpools, the activities and obligations that fill every week with purpose. All of that structure does something you may not have considered. It gives her somewhere to put the pain. She can manage what she is feeling because there's always something demanding her attention. There is always a reason to keep moving forward. And then spring break shows up and that buffer disappears overnight. No schedule, no automatic distance, no place to redirect what she has been carrying. And now she's home with you for days. And what happens in these days is going to determine what happens in the summer as well. This is what a lot of men don't understand because they're kind of waiting. They're like, oh, nothing has happened so far. Well, that's it. That fence hitting, that tire kicking, that's going to build up. That compounds over time. And that's what culminates in most divorces happening after school is done. And look, the real emotional temperature of your marriage, not the one that you maintain in public, not the managed version, is right there, fully exposed. And most men in your situation get confused at the start of break. They think, we finally have uninterrupted time together. Why does she seem more withdrawn? Well, here's why. The schedule was not keeping you connected. It was keeping the pain manageable. Without it, she does not have a buffer anymore. And if she does not have somewhere safe to put what she's feeling, she turns inwards. She gets quieter. She gets more still. Not because she's giving up, because the weight that she has been managing just got heavier. Now, I want to give you an analogy that I think makes this very clear. Think about a professional athlete. During the season, everything is structured. Practice times, film sessions, plays to run, and the playbook to follow. The structure tells the athlete who to be, when to show up. But when the season ends, when the structure drops away, the real character of that player surfaces. And the coaches know it. They pay close attention to what the player does when nobody is telling them what to do. Because that is where you see the real man, not the performance, not the game day version, the authentic person that shows up when the playbook is gone. That is spring break for your marriage, or really just this time, because we're already about to be 4 months into the year. And if nothing has happened, that should be your biggest red flag and wake up call. The schedule is not running your day anymore. The structure is not telling either of you who to be in this space. And your wife is running film. Not to catch you doing something wrong, not to even build a case, but her nervous system is asking one question. Is this still the man who made me feel unsafe? Or is something actually different now? And most men fail this test not because they do something terrible. They fail because they default. They relax. They think, it's spring, it's just break week. But for her, nothing about this window is casual. Everything you do or do not do, the way you handle slow mornings, the way you respond when the kids are loud, the way you manage the small frustrations that always come up on day-to-day things, all of that is being logged. Not consciously, not strategically, but her nervous system remembers. And it is already deciding. Now, before we go deeper, I want to pause for a second. What I'm describing sounds familiar. If you are looking at a spring break that feels more like a minefield than a vacation, I want you to look at the link in the description. That link takes you to a free consultation call with my team. It's not a sales pitch. It's a real conversation about your specific situations. Where are things actually in your marriage? What is the temperature right now? What is the most important move for you to make this week? My team works exclusively with high-performing men, entrepreneurs, executives, veterans, men who have already tried the therapy, the spaces, and just being nicer, men who need a plan that actually works. The link is in the description. The call is free. And if you want something to start on right now, the Heroic Husband book, that's on Amazon or that's in the description as well. Okay, let's keep going. Now, the second thing I need you to understand is what she's actually watching for. And I want to be direct here because this is where a lot of men completely misread the moment. They think if I make this week enjoyable, if I plan something, she will like it. Maybe if I'm attentive and present, she will feel it. She will open up and she will soften. Maybe she will, most likely for a moment. But here's the deeper truth. She's not measuring your effort. She is measuring your pattern. Those are not the same thing. Effort is something that you can perform. Pattern is something that reveals itself. And she has been watching your effort for a long time. The apologies, the temporary improvements, the big conversations where you said things were going to change. What has she learned? Not because she's cruel, but because it keeps happening. Is that the effort moments are followed by the same man. The same reactions, emotional walls, the same retreat when things get difficult. So when spring break starts, and when you show up with effort on day one, her nervous system does not celebrate. It waits. It waits to see what happens on day 4 when the effort has worn off. It waits to see what version of you shows up when something goes sideways. It waits to see if the man that she has been watching lately, the one who seems different, is actually different or just resting. I work with this guy named Conrad. He runs operations for a mid-sized logistics company, oversees more than 200 people at work, calm, precise, decisive. Okay. Every person on his team says the same thing about him. You always know where you stand with Conrad. But at home, he was a completely different man. When his wife got quiet, and she got quiet often, he would tighten up. He would ask her what was wrong. She would say nothing. He would push. She would pull back. He would get frustrated. She would get cold. Same loop every time. He had a spring break coming. They had rented a place near the coast. Both sets of kids were coming. He had to put it together deliberately because he thought that the change environment would help. When he told me about it, I said something he was not expecting. I told him, Conrad, the rental house is not the test. The Tuesday morning is a test. He looked at me like I was speaking another language, so I walked him through it. When she gets quiet on day 3, and she will get quiet on day 3, that moment is not a problem to fix. That is a bleeding point surfacing. A bleeding point is not a mood. It is not her being difficult. A bleeding point is a deeper wound that lives underneath her behavior. Something she has been carrying for a long time that keeps finding its way to the surface. And most men, when they see a bleeding point surface, they do exactly what Conrad used to do. They try to resolve it immediately. They ask questions to diagnose it. They offer solutions. They get defensive when she does not respond well to that. And every time they do that, even with the best of intentions, they confirm the wound. Because the wound is not about this moment. It's about a long history of bringing something up and having it minimized, explaining away, or solved before it ever was truly felt. And what Conrad was doing when he pushed and questioned and fixed, he thought he was being responsive. He thought he was trying. But to her nervous system, it registered as not safe to fully feel this. Here is the distinction that changes everything. There is a difference between trying to solve her emotions and trying to excavate it. Solving is a masculine instinct. You see a problem, you move towards fixing it. That is the gift of the masculine. But an emotional wound is not a logic problem. It is a truth that has been waiting for the right container to hold it. And when she senses that you're trying to fix her, when she feels the urgency in you to make the uncomfortable thing stop, she pulls the wound back inside. She protects it because she does not trust yet that you can hold it without trying to manage it away. What I walk Conrad through, and I'm not going to lay out full protocol here, that's inside the heroic husband method, but what I walked him through was the difference between the old him and new him in that specific moment. Old him pushed, the new him got still. Old him rushed to diagnose, the new him created space. And what happened on day 3 of that trip, when she got quiet, Conrad didn't push. He did not retreat. He just sat near her. He said something simple that opened the door instead of closing it, and she told him something that she had never said out loud to him. Not because he had engineered the perfect moment, but because for the first time she felt him holding the weight of it instead of trying to make it disappear. That is a shift. That is what she's watching for during spring break. Not a perfect plan, not good attitude, whether the man next to her has actually changed or whether he's performing it. The unscripted moments reveal the answer every single time. Now, let us talk about the third piece. This is the one that most men either do not know or seriously underestimate, the decision window itself. Here is how it actually works. When a woman has emotionally checked out of her marriage, when she has gone quiet, when she has said that she's not sure, when she is going through the motions, she is not on pause. She's waiting. She is in an active evaluation phase. And that evaluation is not intellectual. It is not a list that she is making. It is an emotional momentum. Think about it like this. Imagine you have been having a health problem that has gone on for a long time. You have tried things. Nothing has worked. And then someone refers you to a specialist. So you're skeptical. You have been disappointed before, but you go. And the specialist says something different. Not a generic protocol, not what you've heard before. They describe your situation with a level of precision that makes you feel understood. And you leave that appointment not fully convinced, but with something that you have not felt in a while. A sense that the direction might be changing. So you follow the protocol. And for the first 2 weeks, nothing happens. You almost quit. But then something small shifts. It's not dramatic. It's not a cure. It's just slightly different. And that slight difference is enough to keep you going because the direction has changed. Now, reverse it. Same situation, same appointment, same moment of hope. But 2 weeks into the protocol, nothing changes. Then something gets worse. That worsening, coming after a moment of hope, closes something in you. That is the decision window. It is the emotional direction that she feels the marriage moving. The spring break is a concentrated version of that measurement. Over 7 to 10 days, she's feeling whether that direction has changed. Not dramatically, not loudly. She's feeling the small things, the quiet consistency, the way that you hold discomfort instead of deflecting it. Whether the man next to her is pointed in a new direction or cycling through the same old one. And here is what I need you to hear. The window does not close with a conversation. There is no moment where she announces, okay, I have made up my mind. It closes like a season changes, gradually, quietly, very little warning. And once the emotional momentum settles towards leaving, reversing it requires far more than a good week, which is why what you do during this window is not about making it enjoyable. It's about being genuinely different in the moments that she did not expect, the moments that were not rehearsed, because those are the moments that move emotional momentum. Not the planned dinner, not the coordinated gesture, the way that you handled Tuesday morning, the way that you sat with the discomfort instead of filling the silence with noise, the way that you show up when there was nothing in it for you. Those are the signal fires, small signals, quiet signals, but they add up to something her nervous system cannot ignore. And here's the truth about what builds those signals. It is not trying harder. It is not reading her better. It is doing the internal work that changes who you actually are in those unscripted moments. The work that shifts the default. Because if the old you is the default setting, then break week reveals it. No matter how hard you try on day one. And that revelation is what closes the window. I want to say something before we finish, because this matters to me beyond the work. Men, whether you like it or not, are the foundation of the family. And the family is the foundation of everything else. Communities, societies, the whole structure that holds the world together. When a man breaks down, everything above him feels it. His wife, not just his kids, the whole world around him gets a little less stable. And when a man stands up, when he does the difficult thing and chooses to become the man his family actually needs, everything above him rises. Your kids are watching. Not for the perfect dad, not for a grand speech, for the man who shows up when it was hard, who stood steady when everything in him wanted to retreat, who did not collapse under the weight of her pain or his own fear. That man leaves something that outlasts the marriage. He leaves a picture of what strength actually looks like. And that picture goes further than you will ever know. So let me bring this together. Spring break is not a reset, not when your marriage is in crisis. It's a decision window, a stretch of unstructured time when the emotional temperature of your marriage is completely exposed. 3 things are happening during this window that most men never see. The structure your wife has been using to manage her pain is gone. She's home, present. So is everything she's been carrying. She's not watching your effort. She's watching your pattern. She's looking for the old you versus the new contrast. In the moments you did not plan. And the emotional direction she feels the marriage moving during those days is creating momentum that either opens or closes the next chapter. Most men spend spring break trying to manufacture the right moment. The most important thing that you can do is become the right man in the moments that were not planned. Now, here's the thing. What I have given you today are the concepts, the why and the what. The how, the exact excavation approaches, the language that opens the door, the behavioral framework that makes the new you the default, that is inside the heroic husband method. And the fastest way to get that into your hands now is a book called My Team. That link is in the description below. The call is free. It is specific to your situation, and it will give you the clearest picture you have had of what is actually happening and what to do next. If your marriage is worth fighting for, and I believe yours is, the window is open right now. Use it, book a call. That link is in the description. And if you want to start tonight, the Heroic Husband Method book is on Amazon, and that's also in the description below. I'm Noah Allen. Keep building, and I will see you in the next one.